in the construction business for 23
Mahiya
years.
naman kayo, lalo sa mga
Young
anak natin.
Rodrigo, what China is doing to the Philippines.
So I would presume that in the 23 years,
Understanding politics, listening to the right one.
Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Ako po si Edwin Lasherda at katabi ko ang ating recently birthday celebrant. Happy birthday, Barry!
At ako po si Barry Gutierrez and we are the Spokes. Ay, hindi. Balik, maling programa. Sorry. Welcome po sa... So,
Bigla. Okay yan, Barry.
welcome po sa 17th episode ng The Insiders. At dahil klaro, nag-air po tayo ngayong Lunes, hindi po ito live show. Ito po ay isang recorded telecast. Dahil meron po tayong isang very, very special guest ngayong episode na ito. At dahil medyo puno ang kanyang schedule, nag-decide kami na recorded na lang ang magiging episode natin dahil medyo mahirapan yata siya mag-live pag Wednesday. So, sino ang ating special guest na ito? Siyempre, ng ating katanungan. Walang iba.
Paul ba?
Walang iba. Kundi isang kasulukuyang senador. Ako, isang 4-term member ng Senate. At nung nakaraang eleksyon, ang running mate ni Vice President Leni Robredo sa Leni Kiko tandem, si Senator Kiko Pangilinan. So mamaya-maya he will join us, di ba, for yung kanyang interview. Na ang pag-uusapan natin, una, yung isang matagal na yung tinatanong sa comments at nire-raise bilang issue, ano na ba talaga ang pupuntahan ng ating mga progresibong puwersa ngayong 2026, paghahanda para sa 2028. Kasi context din ito, ang LP, recently nag-celebrate ng kanilang 80th anniversary.
Nandun ka ba?
Nandun ako. Kahit na hindi ako LP. Lagi ako nakapagkamalang LP. Hindi. 80th anniversary, panibagong liderato, kagaling lang sa isang medyo major victory nung midterm election. So, naghahanda na para sa 2020.
Curious na, sino ang chairman ng LP ngayon?
Si Kiko is emeritus. Sa Lukuyan. Ang chair ay si Congresswoman Laila de Lima.
Oh.
At ang presidente ay si former Deputy Speaker Erin Tanyada.
Si Kit Belmonte.
Siyempre, si Mayor Kit, Secretary General ng Liberal Party. Yan ang leadership, di ba, ng LP. So very, very dynamic.
LP is known really also with Akbayan as a very principled political party. Kayo, very principled ang party list ng Akbayan. Kaya talagang klaro yung prinsipyo nila eh. Di ba?
Tsaka, di ba, ako, ang very, very clear example niya, nung ang Pangulo ay isang matagal ng member ng LP, si Pangulong Noynoy Aquino. Di ba, si Pinoy. Na pareho nating pinagsilbihan.
Trivia, ang nagtayo ng LP ay ang dalawang lolo ni Marojas. Si Amado Araneta was a financier. Manuel Rojas was the founder.
Yeah, and Manuel Rojas, unang presidente ng First Republic after independence, and also LP.
Yes, correct. Ilan ang presidente ng LP natin?
4.
Si Manuel Rojas.
Elpidio Quirino,
Okay.
and Macapagal. Diosdado Macapagal.
Yung pangapat si
Pinoy. Kasi parang post-EDSA. Si President Cory kasi hindi siya LP. Diba? Hindi naman siya politiko.
Hindi
siya politiko. Tumakbo siya actually under UNIDO. Pero hindi naman talaga.
Tingnan natin kung may magkakandidato sa 2028 ng presidential sa LP. Pero ngayon naman, at least ngayon, naghahanap tayo ng isang kandidato.
Isa yun sa mga didiscuss natin with Senator Kiko. Ano ba ang plano? Ano ba ang prospects natin for 2026? And siyempre, yung the other thing na didiscuss natin with our special guest ay agriculture. Diba? Talaga na mula na sa tagal-tagal niya sa Senado, talagang agrikultura ang isang advocacy na tinutukan ni Sen Kiko. In fact, nung panahon ni Pinoy, he was
Secretary for Agriculture.
presidential
Something,
assistant, special assistant for agriculture, something, di ba? Parang ganun.
Pati sa cabinet siya eh.
Oh, cabinet rap.
Mga nakalimutan ko na si Prosi pala yung Agricultural Secretary, tapos siya.
So matagal na niyang
In charge under sa kanya yung NFA eh.
Yes. Tama. So yun, matagal ng advokasya niyan. So yan yung isang i-discuss natin with him. Okay?
Okay.
So obviously dahil recorded po ito, wala tayong poll question. So pasensya na. Reserva na lang nyo para sa Wednesday. Bali lang, 2 araw na lang naman. Wednesday na naman tayo. Pero okay. Without further ado, ito na po si Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Welcome, Sen Kiko, sa Insiders. Thanks for accepting our invitation to guest.
Despite your hectic and busy schedule.
Hi, it's my privilege to be interviewed by two distinguished former colleagues in the Pinoy administration. Thank you.
So, una, we just want to get some updates kasi alam namin that the Liberal Party recently celebrated its
Yes.
80th anniversary.
Congratulations.
So, unprecedented, di ba?
Thank
But I
you.
think apart from magkwento kayo about anong bago with the 80th anniversary ng LP, ang tanong ng madami sa ating mga kababayan, and actually madami sa mga viewers natin over the past few months, ano na ba talaga ang plano? Diba? Kasi LP is very much a leading component of yung progressive
Right.
alliance ng mga political parties sa Pilipinas. Mga matagal ng proponents ng good governance, ng maayos na mga polisiya. So, ang expectation, naghahanda na tayo for the next election. So, can you tell us anything about what we can expect from LP and the progressives 2026 onward?
Oh, tama yan, ano? We celebrated the 20th Foundation Day. The 60th anniversary of the 20th Foundation Day of LP.
Okay.
Parang young, di ba? But you're right. May mga sa ating celebration, sabi natin last week, kasamahan natin andun ang presidente ng Akbayan. Akbayan and LP have had a coalition partnership, formal, since 2009. No? So
Yes.
we carried that over to succeeding elections. And syempre, coming from the victory of the 2025 elections, no?
Congratulations, by the way.
That was a come from behind, sabi ko nga, surprise, not necessarily, but come from behind decisive victory, di ba? Yung mga nagsasabing, paano ba nanalo yan? Nagkaroon ng dayaan. Sabi ko, alam mo, kung magkakadayaan, dapat yung nanalo, yung mga may kapangyarihan.
Tama naman.
Bilyon-bilyon ang salapi, di ba?
Tama.
Para bilhin yung lahat ng pwedeng bilhin. Hindi, di ba? So anyway, so that victory was a victory of our coalition as well as allied forces, no? Coalition with Akbayan. BAM won, I won, Akbayan had 3 seats, Laila, and Chel, di ba? So coming from that victory, we really have to consolidate and make sure that sabi ko nga, even before the 2025 elections, sabi ko, pagod na ako sa talo. Diba? Yung standard bearer natin noong 2016, talo. Yung 8 Derecho, Lampaso, diba? 2022, talo. So, kaya sabi natin, manalo naman tayo dahil kung hindi rin tayo marunong manalo, ipasa na natin sa susunod na henerasyon. Diba? Wala na tayong K, ika nga.
But,
But,
can I just ask, do you see the victory, your victory, and Senator Bam Aquino's victory as a counter parang response ng tao na pagod na sa mga traditional politicians? What do you?
I think yes. And let me just parang amend that, diba? The victory of BAM, myself, Akbayan, Chel, Laila,
Right.
That's clearly, diba? There is a protest vote.
Right.
If you ask me, considering that yung pinangako nung administrasyon nung sila'y nangampanya nung 2022 ay unity at ang kabaliktaran ang nangyari at ang pinangako ng kanilang kampanya ay 20 pesos ang presyo ng bigas pero nagdoble o nagtriple pa nga, siyempre ang taong bayan ay ano ba ito? 'Di ba? Yung pinangako ninyo hindi ninyo tinupad tapos grabe ang away, ang bangayan, ang batuhan ng Coraco tapos nangyari pa tong flood control. Lalo ngayong ang sentimento ng taong bayan, ano ba nangyayari sa bansa? At ako'y naniniwala, kapag nasusunog ang isang bahay, ang gustong malaman ng taong bayan, paano tayo maliligtas dito sa sunog na ito? And that's why leadership at this time is critical in terms of providing direction, providing clarity amidst the confusion. And that's, I think, the number one order of business. And our victory in 2025, sabi ko nga, is a springboard.
I'd just like to extend your another question in response to your statement that it was a protest vote, no? That protest vote happened in the absence of any flood corruption scandal. So that's ngayon pumutok na. So how do you foresee na parang do you think na mas lumaki na ang protest vote natin or do you expect it to grow? At saka parang are you pretty optimistic assuming meron tayong isang kandidato na may chance na tayo sa 2028 presidential, senatorial, and the national elections?
No, I think that's non-negotiable.
Mm.
Hindi pa pwedeng magkahati-hati. Isa lang
Correct.
dapat kandidato. You're correct. No? Lalong lumala, lalong tumindi. You know, sabi nga ni Mark Twain, di ba? History does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So if you remember the last bangayan, matinding bangayan ng mga puwersang politikal ng malalaking mga dynasty, etc. Yung panahon ni Estrada at ni Arroyo. Diba? At doon nagkaroon din ng protest vote. And mind you, dalawang klase ang protest vote. Yung galit at yung hopeful. Both are emotional. Diba?
Yeah.
Voters are never rational. Sorry, I mean, I don't mean to demean, the ability of the voters to choose. But by and large, diba? Many, the significant number of voters vote with their emotions. So if it's anger or if it is hope, diba? These are strong emotions. Pag-asa, diba? Sabi nga, hope springs eternal. But, so noong 2009, 2008, 2007, 2006, yun yung bangayan ng Arroyo Estrada. Diba? In fact, noong 2007, I won as an independent.
Yeah.
Hindi ako sumama sa dalawang grupo. And si Trillanes, na hindi naman makapagkampanya, nanalo rin.
Tama.
Diba? Galit yung tao, nakita nila ito, nakakulong, talagang laban yan sa corruption, etc. And maybe in my case, ito, diba? Yung kanyang, because I was number 1 in Cebu, Iloilo, Pampanga, Dumaguete, no? And wala akong makinarya. So fast forward to 2025. Emotional na naman. Hopeful vote, angry vote. Sino yung angry vote? Dahil kinulong si Duterte, nasa ICC, galit yung mga supporters niya. Ayun, boom! Di ba? Number 25 ako sa Davao, number 27 ako sa Agusan. Di ba? Galit yung tao doon eh. Wala naman akong kinalaman doon sa ikanga. No? But anyway, point there is, Bongo and Bato were number 1 and number 3, but Bam and I were number 2 and number 5.
Yeah.
So again, there is an angry vote because kinulong si Digong, but there is also a hopeful, aspirational vote. Diba? And of course, again, Laila and Chel, and Akbayan, which Risa represents, these are, diba, clear indications, no, of a growing sentiment towards good governance, diba? And towards track records, towards anti-China positioning, among others.
Yung ano, we share your sense of optimism. Barry and I were very optimistic that we stand a strong chance of getting even garnering the presidency if assuming we have one candidate talaga. Thank you
Yeah.
for your optimism.
So,
Kiko.
baka natin iwan tong topic na to, Sen. Kasi madami nagtatanong eh. So, before 2026 or early 2027, maaasahan ba natin na meron na tayong magiging malinaw na kandidato who will stand for the campaign of hope? Tulad ninyo ni VP Lenny nung 2022.
Yes. Alam mo yung immediate response ng marami nating mga nakasama doon sa 2022 campaign is wag naman last minute.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct.
But I have to clarify that eh. Kasi yung 2022 elections, yung 2028 elections, hindi tulad ng 2022 elections. Dahil tumakbo nga tayo noong 2022 at naimpisahan natin, di ba? Itong massive outpouring of support, volunteerism, di ba? Di ba? Napaka-creative, napaka-artistic, ibang klase yun. Kumbaga sa pagsasaka, namunla tayo, di ba? We were sowing seeds. At darating pa ang harvest. Before 2022, we will be honest, the seeds that we sowed were not sufficient, obviously.
Tama.
But now, di ba, moving forward, and that's why last week, kausap ko si VP Lenny, I went to her in Naga dahil may mga concerns dun sa mga support for Naga, and we decided to also come see her. We also decided to have some TikTok material. No? But,
Nakita namin yun.
mga 4 million views ata yun. But ako, if you ask me, I think the best candidate that will unite the broadest, and including not just from our own ranks, diba, is still Lenny. And I told her, Ma'am, don't close the door. Don't shut the door to a 2028 run. Baka ikaw lang ang makakapag-unite ng mas marami sa atin. Kaya, and then of course, sabi ko sa kanya, anyway, Ma'am, kayo na rin na nagsabi, if it's meant to be, it will happen. So,
Inunahan na nyo.
nagamit yung words niya. But, sa atin, sa hanay natin, di ba, I would push for her, but kung ano man yan, basta sa hanay natin, magkaisa.
Okay.
And I've shown naman in the past, and I'm, my record is clear naman, kung sino ang pinakamalakas na may kapasidad na ipanalo yung ating hanay, yun dapat. And we should rally behind
Tama.
her. Yun ang bottom line dito. And itutuloy ko na rin, hindi enough ang one term.
Okay.
Realizing the gravity and this, of the problems, the largest corruption scandal in the history of the country, di ba? We cannot do the same thing over and over again. In fairness, of course, to Pinoy, di ba? His term, di ba, sowed seeds, and up to today, we go back to that. Unprecedented ang growth, unprecedented foreign direct investments, unprecedented ang pagbagsak ng poverty, unprecedented ang classroom buildings, unprecedented ang road system. Sabi ko nga, hindi lang daang matuwid, daang matibay pa. Diba? So all that, no, we have to go back to that. Remember, that we are able to deliver if we get our act straight.
Tama.
And get our act straight not just for one term, di ba? Kung sino man ang mauna, may susunod, basta tuloy-tuloy tayo. And that, I think, Thailand had their version of 20 years of continuity. Malaysia had their version of 2 decades of continuity. Indonesia, Japan, Taiwan. Now is the opportunity for us to do our version of 20 years of consistency in policy, good governance, and after 20 years, hindi na natin makikilala ang Pilipinas dahil ibang-iba na. Yun dapat ang ating, and we have to unite behind that and the need to win by uniting.
Ganda yan, Sen. Sana I look forward to seeing that vision realized, di ba?
Tama yun.
Oo. Ako nga, nung nakita ko yung Vision 2022 na si Lenny ang pinakamainam at may kaya talaga, sabi ko, most qualified. I didn't think twice about, hindi naman. I didn't think, probably thought twice, but not three times. No, di ba, sacrifice my own plans, di ba, set aside my own plans and support her. Tsaka ako, nakokonsensya ako ng kasaysayan, sabi ko eh. Kasi, can you imagine? Kasi sinabi sa akin ni VP Lenny noon, na kung hindi ako tatanggapin yung pagka-vice presidente dahil 3 days before the deadline,
Oo nga.
at ako'y nakakasana sa Senado,
Yeah.
may programa na nga, may video na nga. Ang dami ko ng mga video message. Sabi ko, kung hindi ko ginawa yun, sabi kasi niya, it's okay, it's too late. If I don't, sabi ko kasi, ma'am, if ever, sino bang pwede nating pakiusapan din? Baka, sabi niya, no, I will just run without a vice president. Who should? So iniisip ko ngayon, in hindsight, di ba? Kung hindi ko tinanggap, tapos dumaban, tapos natalo, parang hanggang sa kamatayan ko, sasabihin, parang, kung tumakbo ba ako, baka sakali nanalo, nakatulong. Di ba? But now, Cuentas Claras, we took a stand, di ba? We didn't make it, but I still call that a victorious defeat. And that we are just sowing the seeds. We are just, parating pa lang tayo sa exciting part. Yeah.
Ayan. Okay.
Tuloy na yan.
Oo nga. So Sen, eto, punta na tayo sa next part. You mentioned kanina, issue ngayon malaki, corruption, flood control, pero dahil ang linya nyo, agriculture.
At sowing seeds, sabi niya
Sowing
kanina.
seeds. Gusto ko itanong tungkol sa FMR kasi may nabalitaan kami na meron na daw portal ngayon for mga farm-to-market roads.
Yes.
Can you tell us something about that?
Well, the DA has put up a portal for the Farm to Market Road project. So anyone can enter the portal and check ano ang mga farm to market road conduit, saan ito, magkano ang magiging proyekto, ilalabas din dyan sino ang magiging winning bidder, etc. And then yung timeline. So mababantayan talaga. Sabi nga ni Sec Kiko Laurel, kaya nilang pababain ng up to 20% ang cost compared to itong naging costing ng DPWH. That's precisely why in the budget debates, I insisted on removing yung farm to market road implementation from the DPWH at ilagay sa ilalim ng DA. Okay. So DA now is the lead agency.
Okay.
Besides, nakita naman natin yung performance ng DPWH. Grabe sa flood control, grabe sa classroom building. Walang resulta, no? So, yan, and then babantayan natin. So yes, and we added, sabi ko nga, wag na nilang subukan dahil 33 billion ngayon ang budget ng farm to market roads. So we will really have to ensure na ito ay mababantayan ng gusto.
Pero are you aware, Sen Kiko, kung laganap din ba yung corruption sa farm-to-market roads nung the last time? Are you also investigating that?
They're doing an audit and they've already identified a number of ghost projects. But I think it's not as, well, so far, no, hindi ganun katindi kumpara doon sa flood control ng DPWH. So, kasi binomonitor naman ng DA. Yung flood control, wala namang ibang nagmo-monitor kung hindi sila. So, kahit paano, medyo merong, kaya nga importante talaga. You know, the classroom program of Pinoy, we were building 600 classrooms a week.
Right.
Tama.
No, a week.
Tama. Yes.
Yeah. And what was that? The formula was simple. PPP, di ba? Get the private sector, transparent and open public bidding, and then get LGU matching, di ba? For every 10 school buildings that the LGU will fund, the national government will fund an additional 10. And that's how you do it, di ba? You get more stakeholders involved, you get LGUs involved, you get the private sector involved, and you get the job done. And that's how we're going to, that's the template that we're looking at sa farm-to-market roads as well. Get the private sector, get the LGU, and bantayan, no, through such online digital platforms and portals.
So through the portals, and anyone can go there and look at yung mga projects at yung mga
Yes.
details?
Yes.
Okay.
Open to the public, and we precisely put that in the law, in the General Appropriations Act, that there has to be a digital online platform to monitor the implementation of the Farm to Market Road project. Batas yan. Special provisions sa GAA yan.
So that monitoring will also be done by our civil society friends.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yes. In fact, that is also part of the special provisions that
Okay.
citizens participatory audit
Audit.
shall be implemented, no, in the farm to market road projects.
Okay. Kanina nabanggit na rin yung Sen, ano naman, 'di ba, yung sa bigas. Yung isang mataba ng issue sa bigas, yung sa smuggling.
O nga.
So, ano balita dito? Meron na bang mapapanagot dito?
Well, we're preparing an interim report.
Okay.
We've had 6 hearings on agriculture committee on rice smuggling, as well as smuggling of meat and frozen meat and frozen mackerel and fish and even vegetables. Grabe. You know, the DA announced about 2.4 billion worth of confiscated smuggled products.
Wow.
About a year ago or 2 years ago. 10 million non-bailable, ha?
Wow.
Smuggling.
Grabe.
10 million. 10 million is non-bailable. It's economic sabotage.
Tama.
Pero ang tanong ko doon sa hearing, kung nakumpiska nyo yung 2.4 billion pesos worth ng smuggle, bakit wala pang kasong sinasampahan na ang mga na non-bailable?
Tama.
And then, doon na ilabas sa hearing na 90% ng mga kaso ng BOC at to that point ay walang authenticated certificate o ng mga official documents. Kaya dismiss yung kaso.
Grabe.
So may collusion sa loob ng customs.
Good morning, sir. Customs, sabi ko nga, Chinese smugglers, importers, bringing in unfit for human consumption agriculture products in connivance with BOC and perhaps down the line, police, etc. So kamadang sindikato kasi lahat ng mga nakumpiskang mga produkto may Chinese importer. Galing sa Xiamen, galing sa Hainan. Tapos Chinese, pagpasok dito, kinukuha ng mga kumpanya na mayroong Filipino at may Chinese nationals na members of the board.
Wow.
Tapos dumadaan ng customs, hindi ba? Sabi ko nga kung flood control mayroong nasa gobyerno, nasa private sector, 'di ba? May mga protector, ganun din dito sa smuggling. You have billions coming in and out. And in fact, sa rice, we're also investigating yung nangyari sa onions, yung cartel na kino-corner yung mga permits, tapos hindi naman ginagamit lahat, tapos nananatiling mataas ang presyo ng bigas relative to, di ba, yung suggested retail prices. Ganun din ang nangyayari nung nakaraang 2 taon. Nagkaroon ng massive importation, pero hindi naman bahagyang bumaba ang presyo ng bigas. Bumaba pero kaunti lang. So, yun. Tapos kinukuha yung permit. So, we're really getting to the bottom of this. And sabi ko nga sa BOC, and in fairness to the BOC, si Nepomuceno, Commissioner Nepomuceno, came in July last. So sabay kami more or less, di ba? Naging chairman ng Committee on Agriculture ako at siya naging commissioner. So we're in tandem working. May mga nahuli sa Subic. Saan ka nakakita? 130 million ang naipasok nilang mackerel tsaka frozen meat, di ba? Products. Pero yung consignee, yung
Mm.
corporation head, yung presidente, pagka harap sa amin, panda delivery driver lang pala.
Ginamit lang ang pangalan.
Dami.
Sabi niya, yung uncle niya. Tapos yung uncle naman niya, pinatawag natin, pinaaresto natin, napakulong ng in contempt, tapos nag-cooperate naman, thankfully. Pero inamin niya na pinahihiram lang niya yung lisensya niya. Sounds familiar.
Oo nga. Parehong modus eh.
Exactly. So, ako naman, ayoko namang habulin at kasuhan ito maliliit, tapos yung mga malalaki, di ba? And that's why, nandyan na, ito nga, andyan na yung private sector na maliliit, andyan na yung gobyerno, yung mga diskaya na lang ng smuggling ang hinahanap natin. Yung maliliit na private sector nandyan, pero yung mga financier na malalaki, yan. Yan ang hinahabol natin ngayon dito sa... And ultimately, farmers are suffering because of the cheap
Right.
inflow of smuggled agri-products, rice, vegetables, fish, di ba? Our farmers and fisher folk are suffering. Our consumers are exposed to health hazards, di ba? Lason, poison. Ang kwento nga sa BOC, may mga ganyang sistema na bibilhin ng patapon sa presyong patapon sa China kasi nga expired na,
Mm.
di ba? Dadalhin dito sa Pilipinas, ilulublob sa formalin, tapos ibebenta sa mga palengke.
Grabe.
No? And a number of those that we have confiscated at BOC, talagang may salmonella, di ba? And unfit for human consumption, and among others. So talagang this is a national security threat because
Yes.
food security is national security.
Yes.
It affects our local production, it affects our consumers, and hanggang ngayon wala pang nakukulong na financial. So kung may mga makukulong na matataas na opisyal at mga kasabwat sa flood control, dapat meron na ring makukulong dito sa smuggling ng produktong agrikultura.
Malaking ano kasi yan, Sen. Kiko, yung whistleblower. Sana may whistleblower lumabas sa customs. Sindikato rin sa loob yun eh.
Well, yun din ang hinihiling natin. In fact, yung isang nakakulong, sabi ko, in fact, he approached me during one of the hearings and I told him, alam mo si Yusik Bernardo nag-state witness na.
Mm.
Dito, ang pinalusot ninyo, panda delivery driver, 130 million ang pinasok. Ang tanong, sino yung naggumastos sa 130 million? Yun ang gusto namin. Ayaw, kung gusto mo, di ba, mag-witness ka. So, pero ayaw eh. Nagmamatigas. So, nakakulong pa rin siya.
Well,
But we'll see. Baka sakali. Again, babalikan ko. Di ba? Kailan pa natin, di ba? Now is the time. Now that the public is demanding accountability, di ba? Ikulong ang dapat makulong ang mga kurakot. Now is the time to push strong and push hard and get these smugglers at walang kakonse-konsensya.
totoo.
Ako, nanlalaso ng tao eh. Grabe.
Yes. It's really kumbaga gahaman, garapalan, di ba? At walang pakialam sa kapakanan ng ating mga kababayan.
Tama.
Kita lang at corruption at tongpats
Correct.
ang interest nila at the expense of the health, welfare of our farmers, our fisherfolk, and our consuming public.
So sana madulo talaga nyo yan, Sen. Grabe. Dapat mapanago talaga yung mga ganyan eh.
Yes. And well, we need the cooperation of the public. And thank you. Meron palang mga nagbibigay ng tips sa amin.
Meron ka bang Sen. Kiko, parang email address, phone na para for them to give you all this confidential information?
They can send me messages sa Instagram, sa TikTok, sa Facebook, sa official accounts ko.
Parang Gen Z na Gen Z, Sen. Kiko.
We have to, sabi natin, hindi tayo pwedeng maging dinosaur. We need to be able to reinvent ourselves,
Right.
be able to serve our people better.
Okay. So, thank you, Sen. Thank you so much for making time for
Yes,
this interview.
oo.
Baka meron kayong final message para sa mga viewers natin before
Well, may mga nagtatanong sa akin, may pag-asa pa ba ang Pilipinas? Sabi ko, may pag-asa pa. Alam mo, ang ibang mga bansa dumaan din sa mga malalaking mga krisis. Pero wag tayong mawalan ng pag-asa. I remember in 2022, when we ran for Vice President, and then ran again in 2025, meron akong mga nakikita sa kampanya noong 2025. Si Venice, by that time in 2025, she was 13. But kinuwento niya sa akin, in 2022, she was 11. She campaigned for really hard for Lenny, the Lenny Kiko tandem. And when she saw me in 2025, naluha siya. She broke down. She cried. And I explained to her, I asked her, why are you crying? Because we campaigned so hard for you in 2022, and you know, and it broke our hearts. And then I told her, you know, the reason why you were hurt was because, you know, you love the country, diba? And because you love the country and you wanted to do your share and you were hurt, diba? It broke your heart. But sabi ko, that doesn't mean we should stop loving, diba? We should continue to love, diba, our country, and therefore tuloy lang, diba? And then I told her, and me, that's why I'm running in 2025, because I can't give up on you, your generation. We have to fight for you, and whether we win or we lose, we will fight because that's the right thing to do. So that's what we're doing now, and that's my message to our kababayans. We draw inspiration from you. So wag kayong mawalan ng loob. Pag sinabi niyong gusto natin ng pagbabago at nagpapasalamat sa amin dahil nga sa mga ginagawa natin, lumalakas ang loob namin. At we draw strength from one another. Diba? Huhugot tayo ng tapang at lakas sa bawat isa. Tungo sa yung ating inaasam-asam na talagang ganap na pagbabago. At mangyayari yun. Kahit na matagal o matatagalan ng kaunti, laban lang. Mangyayari rin yun.
magdilang anghel sana kayo, Sen. Thank you.
Yes. Maraming salamat sa
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sec Edwin and Attorney Barry, and sa ating mga nakikinig. Salamat kayo, dagang salamat, damogid na salamat. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you,
you
Sen.
very much. Salamat.
Napaka hopeful din talaga ni Sen Kiko, no, EL.
Oo. Kasi talaman, I was struck by the fact that when he said na yung nanalo as a protest vote, wala pa yung scandal na yun.
Actually, tama.
Diba? So talagang that's our, ang ano natin when we were discussing also with Carmina, talaga you're hoping, you're very confident will produce new leaders. And I was confident naman that because of the corruption, they'll be looking for a anti-corruption president. So talagang maybe that's the things are falling into place.
Hindi, tsaka ako, matagal na akong kumbinsido eh. Wheelhouse talaga ng LP, Bayan, Magdalo, di ba? All yung Rainbow Coalition ng mga progressives. Yung good governance tsaka anti-corruption. Di ba si Pinoy, nung na-elect nung 2010, yan naman talaga kanyang tinungtungan. And ang sitwasyon nun, actually very similar sa sitwasyon ngayon.
Di ba?
Di ba? You had a scandal-riddled administration. Di ba? So, kailangan talaga ako tingin ko kailangan lang talagang maging malinaw sino yung leader natin. Di ba? Pag nangyari yon, I think the support will be there. Yung sinasabi ni Sen Kiko na, 37% na undecided, another 7% na parang do not know, which is 44%. Tingin ko madami doon, naghihintay lang, sino ba yung tao na mapapagkatiwalaan namin na talagang guguhit, diba, sa issue na ito. Parang, going into 2010, nung si Pinoy ang lumutang, grabe yung avalanche of support. Ako tingin ko, we might be looking for that kind of moment dito ngayon.
I agree with you there kasi talagang I think they're just waiting for someone to stand out and say I'll run for president. Sana magkaroon tayo ng yung process na maayos na isa lang talagang
Parang primaries.
Oo,
Oo nga.
primaries parang Kasi talagang kung maraming tatakbo, magugulo.
Yan, balita ko naman talaga, yun na yun, may mga nagpe-prepare na for that, nag-organize. And unlike, di ba, Isang Bayan kasi, ginawa din niya nung 2022 eh. Eto,
Sama tayo sa grupo yan.
hindi, naka Lenny Robredo ako.
Oo, talaga? Oo nga pala.
Di ba? Pero di ba, unlike yung Isang Bayan na mas civil society, yung nagbubuo ngayon, sa akin makakaintindi, mas broad. So may civil society, may simbahan, may business, may mga politiko, may mga political parties. So mas talaga, mas malawak,
Okay.
mas merong maipapangako na lakas pagdating ng eleksyon. So hopefully, masimulan niya. Kasi tingin ko, yung process itself, yung primaries na gagawin, by itself, makikreate din yun ng opportunity para lumutang yung mga... Kasi ako, naniniwala ako, confident ako, wala tayong shortage ng mga magagaling na leader.
I agree.
Diba? So kailangan lang makilala, kailangan lang mapakilala.
Oo. Baka meron tayong isang Cory Aquino na lalabas, di ba?
Tingnan yung...
No, pero I agree na, the problem, I think, if you go back to the presidential elections of Kamala Harris, ang problema na nag-comment to us, what's the name of that famous, si James,
Carville?
Carville. Si James Carville. I saw the mga documentary niya during the time of Clinton, and I don't know if you saw the latest na natalo si Kamala. Ang comment on the Democratic Party was they should have had a primary even if si Kamala was ascendant to one, so that you can gain the publicity.
Exactly. Yan yung point. Tama. At saka yung primaries, yung process na yon, it creates a momentum
Right.
Diba? Di ba? Si Barack Obama sumikat during a primary. Hinatas na candidate pero as one of the speeches na nag-open ng convention. Diba? So ako, opportunity yan to focus public attention, popular attention doon sa mga leaders ng isang party, ng isang grupo, diba, na tumataya sa eleksyon. Ako kailangan yun
Sa akin, marami tayo na sa senador na pwedeng maging presidential. No? So there should be a shift of mindset from a senatorial, wait, pwede pala itong presidente.
Tama.
Diba? So that's the thing and in fact, this is not to crow about our last, maraming comments kay Rizzo Ontiveros when we were explaining, and she was confident enough and honest enough to say, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
And so it opens up also a lot of comments. Nakita ko, of course, maraming mga iba doon na trolls. Pero yung mga maraming suddenly have a realization because of what they heard from sa background niya, community organizer, na scholarship pala siya, hindi pala na So everybody felt empathy.
Tapos yung kwento nila, yung love story nila ni Prof. Raquel.
Kaya kung tatakbo kang senador, make sure may love story kayo si-share sa amin.
Wow.
Important yan. Siyempre, tayo mga Pilipino, marites.
Pero yun, ako, natutuwa ako na si Sen Kiko was so hopeful, was so optimistic, and di ba, parang
Hindi lang pala tayo.
hindi lang. Yan yung, so, di ba, looking forward to 2026 and 2028 eventually. Sana nga, magdilang angil siya.
We need more people who are hopeful because I remember when we guested kay Carmina, there was one comment na naiyak siya sa our podcast, our interview with Carmina gave that lady hope. And sabi niya, I'm teary-eyed. So parang we need more people who spread the gospel of optimism that we have a chance to win the 2028 election.
Tsaka gusto ko yung isang sinabi ni Sen Kiko na I think sinabi rin ni Sen Risa before when we had her on the show na hindi pwedeng isang term lang.
Correct.
Diba? It has to be at least 3.
Sa akin, 3 terms.
3 terms.
Kasi pinano namin
And
talaga.
Ang purpose nun, hindi lang dahil, di ba, gaman sa poder or whatever, but kailangang magkaroon ng continuity ng reforma, di ba, nung pag-aayos
But one thing I learned, ang hirap magkampanya on the basis of continuity.
Totoo.
Kasi there's always brickbats. Hindi naman kayo, babanatan ka sa
Totoo.
mga...
Lalo na ngayon, with social media na talagang
So,
ang daling manira.
even if you're going for a continuity campaign, always say change pa rin.
Tama.
So that's one thing I learned in 2016. Kaya it's easier to campaign on the promise of change kasi it's a new beginning eh.
Di ba nung tumatakbo talking about James Carvey, nung tumatakbo si Clinton against Bush, yun ang kanilang mantra, change versus more of the same.
Yes.
Yun yung kanilang linya doon. So, hopefully,
I was talking to maybe one of these days we'll have si Butch, one of the ideologues of the Liberal Party. We were talking about accountability and affordability kasi problema yung inflation and corruption eh. So I think our side is capable of presenting solutions eh, in terms of accountability for good governance yan eh. Yung affordability, yung based on mandami, yung paborito mo, na kailangan talaga natin din dito sa Pilipinas. But it's something that we're looking into and just exploring the ideas.
Ako, when we had si Sen. Reza, di ba, yung kanyang vision for a truly universal healthcare system, na talagang wala kang money out, kung kailangan mong magpagamot, di ba, hindi mo kailangan mag-alala na paano babayaran. Ako yung ganon, ang laking bagay nun. Yung ginhawa, tsaka more than yung specific na ginhawa eh, yung peace of mind ba? Diba? Na kahit na wala ka pang sakit, hindi at the back of your mind, pag nagkasakit ako dito o pag nagkasakit yung mga mahal ko sa buhay, baka maubos kami. Wala yung ganun takot eh. I think that's such an important thing kung magagawa.
We're fortunate that we have Risa in the Health Committee and si Kiko in the Agriculture Committee. Kasi yung food security, ang laking bagay yan. It's an issue that people around the world are saying it's a major concern. Pero sa Pilipinas, we just mouth it as food security. At least si Kiko, seryoso siya talaga na gagawin ng food security. Kasi we're worried about yung cost of smuggling. Sinabi niya na may formalin na
Grabe yun, di ba?
pumapatay ka ng tao.
Hindi, tsaka isipin mo, basura essentially sa China, tinapo na yan eh. Kasi hindi na, tapos biglang benta mo dito. Parang anong klaseng kawalang yaan yun, di ba?
Walang hiya yung mga Pinoy, walang hiya yung mga Chinese. Parang wala talagang
Tsaka, grabe, talagang maghahanap ka na lang ng pagkikitaan, yung pa talagang sobrang makakasama sa mga kababayan mo. Parang, anong kababuyan yun, di ba? Parang itong flood control, di ba? Magnanakaw ka na lang, doon ka pa talaga magnanakaw sa gagamitin dapat para maligtas ang mga tao from mga bagyo, baha.
I'll ask you one question. Bakit mas madaling nagkaroon ng whistleblower sa DPWH than sa customs? Anong tingin mo?
Posibleng malakas ang mga protektor ng mga nasa customs. At dahil, unlike sa DPWH, na to a certain extent, nalantad na yung mga malalaking pangalan early on.
Right.
Ito dahil hindi pa, mas confident yung mga maliliit na isda na hindi pa naman naka-out yung mga namin eh. So, kaya pa kaming protektahan yan.
So, parang walang big names, no? Dun sa...
So far.
Oo.
Kasi sa flood control, alala natin, lumaki lang naman yan nung naglabasan na yung mga pangalan ng mga mga senador, mga kongresista, yung mga big time. Kasi pag na-expose na talaga yung ilaw, di ba, ng pananagutan doon sa mga malalaking taong nakatago sa likod, medyo mahihirapan na silang protektahan yung iba. Dahil hindi nila pwedeng gamitin yung poder nila.
Right.
Dahil nasa spotlight na sila eh. Diba? Yun yan eh.
Sa food security, I think one of the missions there is to really, pag may food security tayo, we can lower the prices, hopefully, without hindi yung ini-smuggle, ha?
Hindi, yung nga sinasabi ni Sen. Kiko na supposedly, yung importation, it's supposed to lower the prices. Kasi di ba, basic economics, tataas yung supply, bababa ang presyo. Pero dahil sinasabi niya na yung iba mga import permits, kukunin lang pero hindi naman gagamitin. O kaya mag-i-import pero i-hoard din naman yung supply. Wala kang nakikitang benepisyo sa presyo. Di ba, hindi mo mababa yung presyo sa market.
Yun ang concern talaga, yung food security, eh. Pero kasi, as usual, mga sinasabi, maliit lang naman ako dyan, di ba? Tulad ng flood control, billions and billions. So, they tend to dismiss that as small time, but it's a very important issue for us. Eh.
Totoo. Tsaka, lagpas kasi doon sa individual na mga amounts involved, ano yung implikasyon sa sistema eh? Di ba? Yung sistema ng corruption yung kailangan mong basagin eh. Ano ba eh? Sorry, nababalik na tayo kay Sara Duterte. Pero, ilang beses na nating discuss ito, di ba, na yung mga confidential funds. Ilang million lang naman yan, di ba? Parang hundreds of millions lang naman yan. Lang naman ito.
May tanong ako pala, Barry. I had Lito Banayo in the spokes.
Oh,
One of the accusations against VP Sara was she spent so many hundreds of millions in 11 days.
yes.
On the in her defense, Lito said kasi mag-expire na yung something eh. There's a certain period where you have to spend it. That's why
Matatapos na yung calendar year.
calendar year. Is that a valid ano?
Hindi, kasi pag hindi mo ginastos yun, di unspent, pwede pa rin namang i-relocate yun the following year. Mako-consider lang siya as savings.
So hindi that's not a valid.
I mean, hindi excuse na kailangan namin gastos na kasi mawawala to. Hindi naman mawawala. It will become savings. Diba?
Okay.
And then as savings, theoretically, pwede mong i-allocate.
Correct.
So kung talagang, pwede ba ipalig doon sa actually pinagagastosan mo? Ang more important question is, bukod doon sa ambisyon, sa bilis ng pag-ubos, saan napunta yan?
Correct.
Di ba? Kasi ang tanong doon, sige, minamadali yung gastusin, pero ang laki ng ginastos yung on a daily basis, saan nyo dinala yan? Di ba? Ang problema kasi sa madali ang paggastos din, nawawala na yung pag-check kung talaga bang maayos yung pupuntahan, kung talaga bang, di ba, nakakuha ka ng best price dyan, kung talaga bang maayos, talagang lehitimong proyekto yan, etc. Kaya naman, nagsilabasan itong sila Mary Grace Piatos at iba-iba pa.
I know this is going beyond that. Pero so do you think it's a good kasi nag-file na sila indig, di ba?
Yes,
Sa
impeachment.
Impeachment. That's a good ground.
Ako tingin ko, kasi unang-una, may ebidensya yan dahil nagkaroon ng mga congressional investigations dyan. So may laman.
Ay, may audit na yun.
May audit yon. So ako, tingin ko, medyo mas matibay-tibay yan among all the other.
Among the list of enumeration of crimes under the Constitution, saan siya babagsak?
Graft corruption.
Graft and corruption.
Oo. Diba? Pag ano.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
So anyway, ang sinasabi ko kanina, di ba? Maski ko kung pakinumpir mo, hundreds of millions as opposed to billions.
Billions.
Ang punto, hindi yung halaga eh. Ang punto, ano ang implikasyon nun para doon sa sistemang pinapalaganap natin? Kasi kung kaya nating itolerate, di ba, yung pagdanakaw ng 100 million pesos, mag-accumulate yan eh.
Right.
Kaya yan din na nag-give rise so sa eventually natotolerate na natin yung nagnanakaw ng bilyon-bilyon. Diba? Nasisimula yan sa maliit. Pero dahil naging katanggap-tanggap, nagiging malaki. And then at lahat na ngayon involved dahil lahat sila iniisip, ganito naman talaga yung kalakaran eh. So kailangan talagang guhitan simula pa lang.
Yung attitude natin kasi, we always immediately dismiss it at lahat ng kayo corrupt.
Ngayon na.
So parang it becomes common. I was talking to some respected businesswoman, and she used to tell me that corruption is just a cause of doing business. And then I told her, because of the widespread corruption, you cannot just consider that as a cause of doing business because it's already affecting our economy. GDP is down to 3% because we had to freeze the projects because of corruption. So talagang the mindset of the business people should also change. Hindi lang naman tayo especially the business people talagang yun yung talagang hindi kagalaw kung wala kang lagay, di ba? So, sana magbago talaga yung attitude natin towards corruption. Not just the people in Austin, but everywhere.
No. Pero and that really begins with drawing a line and saying, hindi namin ito tolerate to, hindi ito normal, hindi ito acceptable. Diba? Yun yung punto. And ako, napakalaking fiction niya na kasinungalingan na pinepedel yung lahat naman corrupt. Hindi totoo. May mga tao na nagsilbi sa gobyerno na hindi corrupt. May mga tao na kumakandidato na pwede nating boto na hindi corrupt.
Tama.
Yun eh.
Oo, tama yan. I agree with that. Pero talagang...
Ako napapakalat nung lahat corrupt, yung mga corrupt para wag silang mahabol eh.
Oo nga, that's a good point.
Yun.
May nagsabi nun sa Senado Di ba?
Lahat naman tayo di ba?
Tayo corrupt
Kasi kung wala tayo corrupt, di pare-pareho lang. Hindi totoo yun. Hindi tayo pare-pareho lang.
Di ba? Oo, tama yun.
Na nga yun. Pero isa doon sa kwento ni Sen Kiko na nabigla ako talaga, yung sa smuggling. Hindi talaga bukod doon sa pinag-usapan natin kanina na yung quality talaga ng yung mga binebenta, yung basically bulok na o tapos pinoporkali na lang. yung extent din talaga, di ba? Yung parang sindikato to, di ba? Yung fact na sinasabi niya, may dummy
Right,
na
right.
ginagamit na lisensya. So, similar din ito dun sa flood control. Na ngayon, nakikita natin, tip of yung iceberg, di ba? Yung konting ano. Pero mukhang malaking at malawak din tong kalakaran.
Oo. Matagal na rin yan eh. I mean, Customs is such an opaque institution na talagang, ang kwento, di ba? Ang solution lang to stop accountability, they just destroy the desktop. Ibabasa lang, masisira na
Yung computer?
driver. Oh, yung driver.
Okay.
Yung drive pala, sorry, yung drive.
Okay.
And they'll destroy all the files. I don't know, yun ang kwento sa loob. That's why they cannot do technology innovation kasi babanatan nila yung desktop, yung drive, whatever. Parang yun daw ang Kaya ang dami ng mga reform measures eh. I think the only successful one si Paraino.
Mhm.
And then during our time si Sevilla, time of Pinoy, si Sevilla was also good. Medyo
Sani Sevilla.
Sani Sevilla bumaba pero nandun pa rin talaga eh.
Pero, hindi naman talaga makukuha yan ng biglaan. Ako, unti-unti, and sabi ni Sen Kiko, di ba, through several administrations na unti-unti mong mag-rebuild na imbes na kultura ng korupsyon, kultura ng pagiging malinis, pagiging diretso. Ayun.
Pero alam mo, Barry, the reason why we rose in the anti-corruption index globally was because it was really attributed to the fact that it was a government that the leader was clearly
Oo.
not corrupt. So, parang nag-trickle down yung, ingat tayo kasi makakasuhan tayo. Yeah.
Hindi, ako, nakita ko yan sa house eh.
Talaga?
Hindi, di ba, pag yung presidente at yung leadership nyo, ayos, di ba? Ito yung tinutulak na polisiya, susunod naman eh.
Correct.
Mga taong nando sa institusyon na sa government agencies, kung alam nilang matino yung secretary nila, matino yung presidente. Ano yan ano masabi niya sa corporate, tone at the top, di ba? Yan eh.
You're correct. I was told one time, there's a businessman who, when we were in the palace already, ang sabi, your government does not, in the palace itself, and this is ito lang kwento, sabi, hindi kayo humingi ng porsyento sa amin. I don't know how, but
So, paano yung pagkakasabi? Parang, salamat, hindi kayo humingi ng porsyento, o gulat na, hindi kayo humingi ng porsyento sa amin.
parang both salamat and
Gulat.
So kasi nga si Noy talaga hindi stricto siya eh. So kaya kaya kita nila ang taas ang natin, yung anti-corruption index natin, tumaas tayo. So far we're still under Pinoy administration, it was the highest yet. So hopefully that's why we believe that to fix all these things you really have to have a anti-corrupt leader. Otherwise, babalik tayo. Kasi if you tolerate even the smallest ways, it will just becomes a leak becomes a dam. Diba? So, it's really hopeful tayo na at least the more people would say, hindi tama yung lahat ng mga tao corrupt. Yan yung signals na talagang people's mindset are changing. And hopefully, nag-umpisa na kasi marami mga celebrity na hindi nanalo. Diba? Parang isa-isa, dahan-dahan.
Yun na nga. Pero so yun na. Ako, gusto ko lang na emphasize yun. Hindi po totoo na pare-pareho lang lahat ng mga nasa gobyerno.
Dahil si Barry po, na siya ay nasa gobyerno, ay hindi corrupt. At ko rin po.
Oo nga hala Yan talaga. Okay.
Alright.
Diba? So, siguro, hanggang dyan na lang muna kami ngayon. Sana na-enjoy nyo ang aming recorded Monday episode. Susubukan po naming dalasan itong mga ito. Dahil, nasabi ng madami sa mga viewers natin, sinasabi, bitin daw yung Wednesday lang tayo nag-e-air. So, ito po, unti-unti na kaming naglalabas ng a second episode every week. Diba? Nauna-una yung kay Sen Risa. Ito ngayon kay Sen Kiko for our 17th episode. So, tinatrabaho po namin yan. So patuloy lang po sana ang inyong pagsubaybay at panood dito sa The Insiders. Don't forget to like and subscribe. At maraming salamat sa inyong patuloy na suporta. At kailan tayo magkikita? Wednesday. Ngayong Wednesday, wag po niyong kaligtaang panoorin ang ating live episode as usual, Wednesday 8.
Medyo ako isa. One last joke.
Okay, tama. Sorry. Wala, hindi kompleto ang isang episode na wala kang joke. Sige.
Nakwento ko na ba to?
Sige.
Use 5 beds, 1 camel, 1 lion in a sentence.
Ano?
In music. Yes.
Ano? Ano?
5 beds,
5 bets.
1 camel, 1 lion in a
Parang kanta, ano?
in a sentence or kanta.
Medyo mahirap, ano?
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's Boy George. Kama, kameleon.
Hindi ko alam kung nag-gets ng mga viewers natin yun. Kasi nung tangyan.
May mga resurgence naman ng mga cases. So.
Okay. With that.
Pero alam mo yung kanta.
Oo naman.
Happy na ako kung naisip.
Thank you sa papanood sa aming 17th episode. Kita pa uli sa Wednesday.
Maraming salamat. Bye-bye.
We have been in the construction business for 23
Mahiya
years.
naman kayo. Lalo sa mga
Young
anak natin.
Rodrigo, what China is doing to the Philippines.
So I would presume that in the 23 years,
Understanding